A new report from the Treasury Department shows suspected ransomware payments for the first half of 2021 coming in at $590 million, surpassing the total for all of last year. This comes on the heels of the White House holding a conference with 30 countries this week to find solutions towards combating cybercrime and ransomware. Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber and Emerging Technology, Ann Neuberger, helped convene that meeting and joins us now in a first on CNBC interview. Ann, thanks for joining us. It's good to see you again.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
So, notably, Russia was not in that group meeting. What came out of it? Was there anything in terms of action, a consensus being formed from the friends of the U.S. on this cyber issue?
So it takes a network to fight a network. And as you know, the president has made fighting ransomware a priority. And in the United States, we have a strategy that includes disrupting networks, identifying illicit use of virtual currency, resilience, and diplomacy. So the purpose of the meeting was to take that strategy and bring together a coalition of countries, over 30 countries and the European Union, to coordinate our fight against ransomware.
But what about Russia? How has Russia been behaving on the cyber front since we saw that Putin-Biden meeting and apparently there were some assurances made about it? Have things calmed down?
After the summit, President Biden and President Putin established a dedicated high-level White House Kremlin channel to discuss ransomware specifically, and for the U.S. to have candid and direct exchanges regarding that. So first, that was the core reason that when we were convening the coalition, we didn't include Russia, because we said we have a dedicated channel to discuss this issue directly with Russia at the White House Kremlin level. And to your point, in that channel, we've had direct, candid, and professional ongoing exchanges. We've conveyed information about ransomware criminals operating from within Russia, and the Russians have committed to act. And we're looking forward to seeing those steps and that action and those actions. As you know, we've said that we look to see progress over weeks and months. This isn't something where there's an on-off button, and we're truly looking to see that action. But the candid, professional, and direct exchanges we have at the highest levels of the government, established by President Biden, is a key avenue we're using to get there.
So this feels like a very state-based response to ransomware attacks. Does that also imply that most of the attackers are state-based or state-enabled?
What it really implies is that the core tools of fighting ransomware are within nation-states' hands, but that we also need the private sector's partnership and cooperation. I'll give an example. One of the core takeaways in the discussion was the degree to which illicit use of virtual currency is used to launder ransom payments. And over 30 countries noted that they're not implementing financial action task force rules around controls for virtual currencies in the most effective way. So we talked about how to build capacity to that. We talked about how to share information regarding that, because transnational movements of illicit use of cryptocurrency is a key driver of ransomware. So back to your question, we wanted to ensure that we were coordinating the government's efforts across diplomacy, illicit use of cryptocurrency, resilience, and disruption in the most effective way we absolutely can.
And I would assume part of it, Ann, is the private sector, and I know you've been calling on companies to be more transparent with some of the attacks that they're facing. Do you support this bill floating through Congress that would compel companies with critical infrastructure to disclose any cyber attacks with the feds?
So two parts to that. One is resilience. And as you know, we've been calling on the private sector to lock their digital doors and really ensure that the cybersecurity is in place to make themselves harder targets. That resilience was one of the 4 topics discussed in the meeting as well. And we believe a core part of that also is the government understanding incidents that occur. So given the same tactics and techniques are frequently used and reused, we can learn from incidents that occur and rapidly get out information about how to protect against them to ensure further victims aren't compromised by the same techniques. So as part of that, we do think incident sharing is critical to ensuring that we can learn from each incident that occurs and make it a lot harder for attackers to reuse the same approaches again and again.